So, number 1 it says on the board, number 1 it says on the side of the car. Isaacson having had a frantic battle, him and his crew, to get an engine change done. Liam Doran, meanwhile, 3 out of 3 so far for the Englishman. These two are the guys to watch as we head into the final. Who is it going to be? Hansen behind. A great start there from Frode Holter. Almost too good a start. Looked like it perhaps was a bit of a jump. Immediately there's contact between Doran and Isaacson. Isaacson gets slightly turned around. Sideways goes Eriksson. It's getting caught up in all the action. And look, and off goes Isaacson. Sverre Isaacson's been fired across the grass. They just fell across each other as they headed into the corner. This is the onboard. Isaacson looking at the back of Liam Doran's car, gets very, very sideways. As he comes back across, he clatters into the side of Isaacson. Now, I don't think that was an intentional move on behalf of the Englishman, but certainly the implication is that Isaacson's going to really struggle, assuming he can get going from there, to get back into the action. And after relatively quiet and fairly uneventful by ERX terms run of the heat so far, we see action aplenty between the top drivers at the front. Frode Holter is determined to overcome the disappointment early on of having taken victory in his opening heat, and then we saw him having to retire with damage after contact with Hunchbet in his second heat. C30 clearly working very well, but there is a sense of purpose about Liam Doran today. He's been the superstar driver in terms of sheer pace. Him and Isaacson have just been the two men. Look how much ground he takes out of Holter on the brakes there, picking the throttle up so early. And the C4 working beautifully. Clearly, the crew have got everything absolutely right in terms of setup for Doran, as allowing him to use his flamboyant driving style so well, as Jernberg takes his Joker lap, as does Doran on the same lap. Is that Doran or is that Hansen? Yes, it is Doran who's taking this. For just for a moment, couldn't quite see if it's Doran. Hansen, and look, down to the inside of Eriksson, who was pressuring Doran at the end of the second heat early on. And just, I think, perhaps a tiny bit of contact, but Doran is back on, puffs of black smoke from the back of the C4, fighting the car hard. Exuberance as always. We're seeing the cars clatter down into the hairpin. And this is what it looks like from on board, as there's contact. It's so hard that it flicks Eriksson's hands off the wheel, and it's into a spin. So could be, has he managed to recover from that? Has Doran managed to continue? He couldn't really see it. So clearly a spin. Jernberg goes through. So this is what it looks like from the outside. Flicks back into each other, bang into the door. Where is Doran going to end up? He ends up way out of line. Just skims the barrier on the outside. Looks like Hansen almost got through. Did Hansen perhaps push Eriksson into a spin at the final part of his spin? But Doran somehow seems to have managed to continue after a bruising encounter with both Isaacson and also with Eriksson as well. And takes the car oversteers, if there is such a phrase, coming through the final corner there. The battle scars evident, and Hansen surely must sense a possibility of being able to close down Holter. But could it be the first victory for Frode Holter in the C30 in 2010, or could it be Hansen, or is Doran going to take another win after his win earlier in the year in Finland? Holter dealing with it very, very well. But in looking at the difference between him and Doran as the laps start to count down, it's going to be very, very tight, I think. Doran certainly has the pace. Jernberg just not really seen much of the pace that saw him take the opening two victories of the season in 2010 in Portugal and France. Led the championship, of course. Isaacson pretty much and Jernberg were matched after 4 rounds, having both taken 2 wins apiece. As they come through into latter part of the final. Wildly oversteering on the exit there. It's more like oversteering and understeer out for the Citroens, much like when that man Sebastian Loeb tends to drive them in a rally. Similar sort of technique, perhaps that's the best way to get the most out of the C4. But Doran has worked his way ahead of Holter. A battered and bruised C4. Even more damage to the back. A little tag from Holter, whether that was intentional, whether it was just the guys falling over each other. Hansen is still in there, but As always, you see the side profile of the Liam Doran's car hoving into view. For Halter, who seems to be struggling now to keep Hansen. Could it be a 1-2 for Citroen here in Poland? Yellow flag being waved now. I'm sure Jernberg in the background. I wonder if that's something to that. Could it be for maybe where Ericsson ended up? Not quite sure with that one. But it does look like it's going to be all about Liam Doran. He takes his second victory of the season. An exuberant celebration for the English. Halter is going to be delighted with second place ahead of Kenneth Hansen, Michael Jernberg and Svea Isaksson. And there you can see what it means to Doran. Gets a hug from Hansen.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I don't know what happened at the start. At the start line, I thought my plan was to beat Isaksson from the line. My plan worked, and all of a sudden, Mr. Frode Holt came from nowhere around the outside. So the plan was messed a little, and we had a little bit of a fight. Well, we had a little bit of a fight the whole race. It must have been amazing to watch. But you know, I came out on top, and last time I win, I learned that you should never give up with Rallycross, and now this time it worked because I never gave up. And you know, 2 laps from the end, I was a long way from the lead and just push as hard as I can. I've never driven so hard in my life, so I'm very happy with that.
It was a little frustrating to be lost out at the first corner, but it was a hard battle here and also in the first corners there, but I managed to take the joker early and try to follow Liam, but he was so damn quick, so he put everything in one card, and he was, he deserved to win, that's for sure.
It was like, if you could hit anyone, try to hit him, so it was not driving, so maybe sometimes it feels like harder in the car, but it was, it was tough. So my steering arm went off, and even the drive shaft was already broken before, and then that's how it is.
He take me out. These two Citroen were against 1 Ford, so that is life. Okay. If they want to win to that, okay for me. But anyway, I beat them in Czechia. I can promise you that.
Not a happy Svea Isaksson, but a very happy Liam Doran, Kenneth Hansen and Frode Halter after a very, very exciting final here. Ericsson even-tempered, but clearly very disappointed. Feel very happy about the contact that happened between the two of them, but for Isaksson, I think maybe when it sees the video back, see it was very much looked quite like a racing incident there. We shall see what happens from there, but you can see just how hard that hit was for the MSC Olsberg's Fiesta. But Holt had no answer for Liam Doran, who charged his way to the front, driving harder than he ever has before, in his own words. Takes his second victory, moves up to second in